Okay, without any further ado and no more introductions, so we're going to get into the Midah HaRishona of Mikel Kamocha. Now again, Mikel Kamocha, who is a God like you? So it doesn't say much in detail, does it? Like, it can mean anything, you know. Hey, you know, you're a great-looking God. It could be that you're kol yachol, very creative,
powerful.
Powerful. So it doesn't say much, and so you can't just take Mikel Kamocha is an independent concept. So the pasuk, if you just go a few lines earlier, the pasuk is Mikel Kamocha. It's mefurish. Mikel Kamocha nosei avain va'over al pesha l'sheres nachlasa. Mikel Kamocha, who is like you when it comes to this one particular issue. I'm sure who's like Hashem in anything, but Mikel Kamocha, who's like you when it comes to being a nosei avain, to carrying oven itself has overall pesha, the differences, but when it comes to put it simply, tolerating human sin, there's no one like you. So Mikel Kamocha in the pasuk refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's tolerance, ability to tolerate our wrongdoings. So says the Torah Devorah, Mikel Kamocha. What is the Midah Rishona of Mikel Kamocha, which, keep in mind, is makbil to the first Midah, happens to be of the Yud Gimel Midos Harachamim, which is, what's the first? Hashem. Or, like the way Rabbi Tam teaches it, in Tosfos, Hashem. Kel Racham Mechanim. What's Hashem? Is that one Midah or is that two Midahs? When you count.
It's a little difficult. Yeah, it's a little difficult according to Rashi.
So is it 1 meter or 2 meters?
If the first Hashem is Lifnei Achet, how that corresponds to Mikel Kamocha, which is all based on Hashem's relation to us when we sin.
So Mikel Hashem. So everybody's quoting Rashi, which says Ani Hashem Kodem Achet, Ani Hashem Acher Achet. Hashem is the Midas HaRachamim. In fact, Rabbi Tam, what do you need Rachamim Lifnei Achet?
Because he knows we're going to do it.
Shvach. Ani Hashem Lifnei Achet, Ani Hashem Kod Acher Achet. That's what Rashi says. It's a quote from Chazal, actually. Ani Hashem Kodem Achet, Ani Hashem Acher Achet. And that Hashem is the shame of Rachamim.
I mean, the truth is we really need Rachamim even before Chet.
Why?
I mean, everything that He gives us, why should we get it? In other words, He's still exhibiting Rachamim even before we sin. So for the little things that we do, we should be sustained.
What's Rachamim that we need always? You see, you have to, let's define our terms here, because it's very important to be when you daven, you shouldn't daven for Rachamim. Because when you daven for Rachamim, it brings out the Midas Hadin. Rachamim means that I did something wrong, have mercy on me. You don't. If you're standing trial in front of a judge and you hold yourself to be innocent, you don't go to the judge and say, "Please have mercy." It's the wrong thing. Even in legal terms, mercy is referring to after the, not just after a chet, but after the verdict of the chet. Okay, guilty. Now I'm asking you, don't. I have a wife, I have kids. Don't put me in jail for life. Have a little bit of rachmanis on me. So there is such a legal concept, at least in the United States of America. What about here? There's such a legal concept of mercy, acher achet. It doesn't mean to say that every minute that we're breathing and every minute that we're living and every minute that we have all the good things that we have, that's rachman. It's not rachman, it's chesed. Chesed is a Kodesh Baruch Hu for sure. Elam chesed yibana. So Hashem has chesed, and if we mess up, Hashem has din. And after the din, we can circle back around to rachamim. It's a very important yesod. That rachamim is actually ma'oyer midas hadin. This is what I'm saying. It's actually not a good thing to ask for rachamim because you're admitting to guilt, and that could be ma'oyer midas hadin, unless you did do something wrong. So then you need rachamim. So
we always say Avinu rachem aleinu.
Okay, because we did things wrong. But we did things wrong. But Hadr Kushi L'Duchta, because Ali Hashem, I have Rachmim Koidem Achet. We're talking about Lachlutin, Koidem Achet. There was no Chet. If there's no Chet, so then Hashem is not Hashem. What's the Midas Harachmim? So the also just I want you to count in your mind where's the 13 Midas, but it's actually Rabbeinu Tam's kasha. So what do you need Rachmim Lifnei Achet? If that's Hashem, why do you need Rachmim Lifnei Achet? So the just as an introduction to this, the Maharal says profoundly in his Bir Agados Chazal, he said, if you look at the end of Chazal, Ani Hashem Koidem Achet, Ani Hashem Acher Hachet, Chazal and Ani Hashem Loisha Nisi. Loisha Nisi. I do not change. Means to say that there's two kinds of rachamim. There's a kind of rachamim which is Nisayrer, says the Maharal, from the Maisa that's before you. Somebody, some undeserving person is starving, and some undeserving person is really in bad shape, and your mind says, look, you did this to yourself, right? So that's but my rachamim says no, help the person. That's rachamim, which is being inspired by the person in front of me. But then there's a midah of rachamim which I don't need outside inspiration. There's a midah of rachamim. I myself have rachamim. It's not something which I need external influence to give me rachamim. I myself have rachamim. So there's a maral that the rachamim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is such that it's not that he has rachamim because we're nebuchs. He has rachamim, ani Hashem lo yishanisi. He has rachamim because that's the Shem Hashem, rachamim. Hashem. So he himself, he has rachamim independent of creation. It's a midah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to have rachamim. It's a midah. It's not a midah which is coming from the nebuchkeit of the person in front of him. It's a midah mitzad atzmo. So since it's a midah mitzad atzmo, it will play out acher achet, but it'll also play out somehow lifnei achet. The chiddush is not that there's any practical implication to the rachamim lifnei achet, because you don't need it. But we're talking about the midos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the rachamim is in there even if it doesn't have a yisayrus mibachutz. So that's the Maharal's taich, which is I think a very good one and deep one as to the rachamim lifnei achet. So it's not the rachamim which is coming from chet. That's a different kind of rachamim, says Maharal, than the rachamim that one has be'etzem from what he is.
That's the connection of the racham.
Okay.
But is this what Rashi was saying, that Moshe Rabbeinu was moided to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that I understand that you didn't change. You are
Hashem. That Moshe Rabbeinu is saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like it's not a decision that you need to make. Should I have rachamim? Shouldn't I have rachamim? They're angry. You are rachamim. You are Messias. In other words, the two Hashems point to a different type of rachamim than the rachamim one will have because there's a nebuch at the door standing there. And even though you don't deserve it, even though I can't afford it, even though rachamim, that's a different thing. That rachamim is a weakness.
But Moshe was being moided to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I recognize that you did not change because of the state.
No, then you don't. I think other way around. That the rachamim that I'm asking for has to do with your essence, not with the poor Jewish people. It's your essence. You're an essence rachamim.
Why isn't it the same problem as being a tov without a mitzvah? If it's not actualized, what good is such a midah that?
100%. So here's your chance, Hashem. It's not a steer. In other words, yes, you need us. In other words, what are you going to do with that rachamim, if not to have rachamim on Klal Yisrael after the chet? But if you're talking about the rachamim acher achet, the point is you could be done. Roi to rachamim, not roi to rachamim.
Says the order wrong.
He created the world with the midah of rachamim.
Okay. It's very interesting what you're saying because he created the world midas hadin. listen to the lesson. Rosh Eino Ilu Miskayim, he saw that the world can't live by did. Shitef ito midas harachmim, not midas hachesed. So what's Rachmim? So he took his midah of Rachamim, and he said, I have to inject this in here because it's not going to work, but he didn't take Chesed. He took Rachmim. But let's. I don't want to get. I don't want to get too far out with this. I just want to say that Rachamim by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we're meant to be emulating HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is a different midah than the Rachamim that we're used to having. So you can have a, there might be such a thing as a merciful judge, even though nobody's asking him for mercy. But it's a type of a person, it's a teva of a person, as opposed to a reaction of the person. Like me, who could not have Rahmanas on this particular case, the Abana that you say, who could not have Rahman, that's one thing. But another thing, one can argue that's not a good judge, by the way. But the fact of the matter is that Moshe Rabbeinu was saying to Hashem that you are this type of a judge. Like you say, it's in the Bria itself, which needs to be thought of. So let's just Mikel Kamocha is parallel, Makbil, Mikel Kamocha Nosei Avay. Let's just think about it, just work on this deeply for a minute. Mikel Kamocha, who is like you, that's the midah of Nosei Avon. So it's a different kind of a Nosei Avon, Nosei Avon. It's a different kind of a Nosei Avon where it's Ba'atzmusei Rachamim and not a Rachamim as a reaction. If we're being Makbilat, as it does say in Tashlich, that you have there the Mikel Kamocha, the Hashem, so that's how you see what goes with what exactly. But I say Tashlich. That's where you have the Hakbalah. So here he says as follows. Let's just do a few lines here. Moira, this Mikel Kamocha refers al Hayos HaKadosh Baruch Hu Melech Ne'elav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a Melech Ne'elav. Translate, Melech Ne'elav.
Insulted king.
Insulted king. Elboin. Elboin is degraded king. This is not his lashon. It's not his lashon. The lashon comes from Chazal, Rabbi Shimon, Pirkei Chalais. I know this because there's not because I know Pirkei Chalais, but there's a whole chapter of Tanya Lamed Vav, which is just about the sugya of, in the Geras HaTshuva, there's a whole sugya of Melech. It's really wrong. It's really Melech Aluv. That's what it says. Pirkei Chalais. There it goes in the mitos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Seder Aleph base. Melech Baruch, Melech Gadol, Melech Dogol, Melech Aluv. So he's a Melech Aluv.
Disrespected is not a good thing.
Offended. The offended king. Dist king. Yes. Melech. I don't know, I didn't Google this, but I'm just outside of the Balatanya, the Geras HaTshuva, the Ramak, and the Reishis Chacham who quotes this Ramak. I don't know anybody that works with this idea that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is an insulted king. And the reason is it's a very uncomfortable concept that to attribute offensiveness to Hashem. It's like sort of such a almost a human weakness. So it seems. But let's work with it. Mikel Kamocha Hayis HaKadosh Baruch Hu Melech Ne'elav Soivel Elboin, that he is constantly subjecting himself and being subjected with the burden of insult, offense. Mashalo Yechilei Orion, even beyond anyone's comprehension. God's pain, and we're talking about God's pain. Now, when you talk about God's pain, like it's a pretty esoteric idea, Hashem being in pain, but he explains it. Here's the cheshbon. Harei eina davar nister me'ashkachasai bli safek. Okay, we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is involved in this world. Not only is involved in this world, hashkacha pratis. The words of the Balatanya brings from the Zohar that there's two parts, if you will, two concepts here. One is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mesaviv Kol Almin, meaning like an outside force giving koach, and the other is Mamale Kol Almin, involved in the world. Involved in the world, involved in every decision we make, involved in every Maisa. So presumably, if A decides to shoot B, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is guiding that bullet. Even though A is shooting it and B is standing there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is involved. So Mamali Kol Alman, he's involved. Well, so once he's involved, and he's the all-powerful, Ein Davar Nister Me'ashkachasai, nothing is exempt. There is no place where one can hide, or there's no vacuum or black hole someplace in the Bria where we say, Hashem is not there, here's where I can get away with it. It's not happening. Bli Safek, it's partial. Bli Safek, that's clear. We don't have to have a suffix about that. That's Bli Safek. V'od, furthermore, Ein Rega Shloyeh Ha'adam Nazun U'miskayim Mikoyach Elyon HaShefei Alav. So two cheshbonos. One cheshbon is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees everything. Hashgacha. Hashgacha is that he sees. That's what hashgacha means. The other thing is that he's nizon u'miskayim. Not only is he seeing it, but he's empowering it, he's energizing it, he's giving it the koach. So not only does he see it, but he's doing it. Mikoyach elyon. Nobody can do anything if not for the koach elyon. Hashefei alav. Hare Timsa comes out. Shemei Olam, here's the cheshbon, math. Shemei Olam to Hare Timsa. Shemei Olam leichata adam negdai. Impossible to do any kind of a chet. Shloiyahu boy sayarega mamish shefei alav shefa kiyuma utnoa sevar. Means to say, who gave Adam the koach to eat the fruit? Hashem. Couldn't have done it without Hashem. Who gave Hitler the koach to kill millions of people? Hashem. That already hurts, no? Like Adam you can deal with. Who gives lahavdil elf havdalos us the koach to hurt another person or to be machal Shabbos? Who gives us the koach? We can't do anything without a Kadosh Baruch Hu's koach. So if that's the case, so a person is taking the koach that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving him, nevertheless he doesn't stop giving you the koach. The energy flow continues. So okay, you can't have more elboin than that. So, okay, so here's a yisoid of elboin shelboin that he's right. He's right. Lo yechileu rayim. The mind can't even comprehend it. That the only way a person can do anything wrong, even directly against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is by being empowered by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if he's being empowered by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu and HaKadosh Baruch Hu can stop it. So shut off. You're hurting me. So shut off the like close the circuit breaker. Like why am I giving you koach? So the answer is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is soivel elbain. This opens up so many problems. But I'm just going to say the pshat. What state though? What we have here is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being mefarnes our chatoim. Why?
So we'll learn from it.
Okay. Like if you start to think about the mashal, like people say, well, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Okay, don't bite the hand that feeds you. But if the mashal is more powerful than that. It's the mashal is that. Like if I'm keeping somebody alive by holding the oxygen to their mouth, or by giving them artificial resuscitation, and with the koach that I'm giving them with their breath, they're punching me and they're beating me. So your natural instinct will be to pull back.
We just went through this. In the war, Israel was giving them electricity that they were
Exactly.
using to fire missiles. I kept on thinking Melech Nelav then.
So what you're pointing out is there's a fine line between something very holy and something very stupid. Being makabel abuse, like, you know, if you think about like a domestic situation where one is allowing themselves to be abused, and saying, no, but I'm still here for you, I'm still here for you. There's a very fine line here between being a tzaddik, or tzaddikas, or whatever the case may be, and being an enabler. So, you know, in current thought, current psychology, you tell the person, you know, you're an enabler, you're doing a bad thing, just get out of there. Walk out, you know, punish. Which is correct, I think. You know, I mean, is that the right answer? Anybody disagree with that? I mean, is that the right answer? So what we're saying is that here's HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving koach to Bnei Adam. The Bnei Adam are going against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's say Chas v'Shalom, a person is worshiping Avodah Zarah. So where are you getting the koach? Where are you getting the money? Where are you getting the electricity to build this base? Avodah Zarah? You're getting it all, like you say, the rockets. Where are you getting the stuff from? You're getting it from. I remember here's electricity. I remember in the Lebanon, in the Oslo business there, not to read politics, just as a mushal. So in the international laws, so Israel had bullets that had sort of like a razor sharp edge to it, which is against the law to use. So they had like millions of these things, and they became against the law. So what did Israel do? What are they going to do? So they gave them, at that time, they had to give weapons to the Palestinians. So they gave the Palestinians these bullets. They gave the Palestinians the bullets because they had to give them weapons so they could open their own police department. So they gave these weapons. Apparently, since they weren't a state per se, they're a loy am, so it wasn't illegal for them to have these bullets. So who was makabel these bullets? They came right back at us. So is this righteousness, or is this stupidity? Is it what?
Kaviyachol, isn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu sort of stuck? Because if he wants to give his bechira, he has to do it.
Val toimar, and don't say. Thank you. I was stuck, so you got me. Don't say, Elamai, maybe you're thinking that HaKadosh Baruch Hu stuck. What can I do? I gave you koch, I gave you free choice, as you say. And I have to do this. I already made a commitment to do it. Chas v'shalom. Sharei b'koichai berega kememra, like that, he has b'koach liyabesh yada v'raglav, to paralyze the hands of a person. Kein shasali Yeravam, like he did to Yeravam. What did he do to Yeravam?
He's saying that Hashem can turn it off. He's saying Chas v'shalom that Hashem said it's too late, I released it. He said, of course Hashem can turn it off. I'm saying the way Hashem constructed it, giving us bechira.
But you see not like that in history. But you see like that, not impossible. He did it to Yeravam. You see not like that in history. There was a story of Yeravam. Yeravam was building bamais to Sefer Malachim, building bamais to Avodah Zarah. He had two agolim. I think one was in Beisel and one was Yerushalayim. He had two things of Avodah Zarah, and the Navi came and started to talk. Mizbeach, the famous psukim of the Isha Lakim, who came to Yeravam and preached to him and predicted that there's going to be born Ben Melech David. Is going to be a new son of David. He was referring to Yoshiyahu HaMelech, which was the last of the Melech Yisrael. There's still going to be a Melech Yisrael who's going to destroy the Bamos and destroy you and destroy everything that you've created. And Yeravam ben Nevat became angry, and he put out his hand Lishlach Yad ben Navi to hit the Navi, or to decree Machlekes there, the Rishonim, what he wanted to do, and his hand froze. Don't raise your hand against the Navi. So you see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what it means is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu immediately stopped, turned the switch off, right? He completely shut off the koach. So that you could do. So Chazal say, in Tanchuma, I think Parsha told us, I think Chazal say, so like the people are worshiping Avodah Zarah, Kadosh Baruch Hu is continuing to give them koach. Yerachim himself is worshiping Avodah Zarah, telling other people to do it, Beseder. But when you raise your hand against the Navi, Kadosh Baruch Hu paralyzes and freezes his hand. So because say Chazal that Kadosh Baruch Hu chas al kvoid hanavi yoser b'kvoidoi. Meaning, like when it comes to kavod, so with all of this, I could be one that I can decide to handle the abuse if I think that's the correct thing. But I can't let you hurt somebody else. That's already beyond. So Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now we've seen throughout history. How often have we seen that Kadosh Baruch Hu allowed people b'chir chavshus to hurt the Nevi'ei Yisrael also, and the Malchei Yisrael and the Gedolei Yisrael. So it's not so pashut. But what you see from here, theologically, what you see from here is that it's not that. Let's take it slow here. So it's not that Kadosh Baruch Hu is stuck in a system. He's not stuck in a system. Kadosh Baruch Hu is kol yachol. He can do whatever he wants. But what he wants is to let this play out. And what we need to understand is, look, this is the way the Talmud Devorah works. He explains to us the theology of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that tells us that we have to imitate HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Midos. Not only that, but as I explained, that we're B'Tselem Elokim, we're created to do this. And this is the koach that we have. This is the ability that we have. So we're going to have to work out in the next 15 minutes, like how can this possibly be right that somebody is hurting me? So I can understand if I'm a doctor and I'm trying to give a person an infusion or something and they're punching me and they're resisting me. So I understand that there maybe it's a temporary type of a thing. Maybe they don't realize what's good for them, or they're reacting to the momentary pain. But when we're talking about a person that has a shlit'a of abuse to me, a decision to make an avera, so where's the virtue in me holding back or continuing to be mefarnes this bad habit?
And sort of a moral.
We don't.
We don't.
We don't.
Kill them.
Kill them. I mean, or any Rotzeach. We kill them.
Right. But he wants us to.
Right. But you're right, actually, because the Gemara tells us that nowadays, that the Gemara Sanhedrin nowadays, that there is no Sanhedrin, so it'll fall off a cliff or some other kind of misa. I mean, that's different. That's a punishment. He still had the koach to do the ritzich. He still had the koach. In other words, it's not the aver itself was tolerated in the world. So I'm only saying this, like, work with me for a second. If we're meant to do this imitatio Deus and be godly, so that means that we have to tolerate. Does it mean, I'm asking, that we have to tolerate abuse which is coming towards us? Is that sort of the right thing to do? It's certainly not Western culture to do such. Like, I don't have to take abuse, I was just talking to somebody yesterday, like somebody's coming, like a lot of people come to talk, particularly before Rosh Hashanah. I guess the neshama starts to pound, but a person told me that my resolution for this year, the new year, is that I'm going to take care of myself. Like I don't know what that, like, I hear, but it's not like probably. The resolution should be, I'm not such a big balbusser, but the resolution should be, stop taking care of yourself and take care of other people. But it was like, this is considered a big virtue these days. Like,
Turn the other cheek.
no, opposite. I'm gonna, like, I have to concentrate on myself. I have to look out for number one. I have to be careful to make sure that I'm not abused. This is the current psychotic. This is
Learn how to say no.
But sometimes you need to do that.
Learn how to say no.
Sometimes you need to do that to take care of other people. I still deal with people who are neglecting themselves.
That's not the case with God, certainly.
No.
So this calibration, how are we supposed to have this calibration? Kodesh Baruch Hu took the...
It's too big of a word for me.
He stopped your Ravam. He didn't.
He stopped your Ravam.
Your Ravam used his free choice, and Kodesh Baruch Hu stopped his free choice at that point because he wanted a different mitzvahs to play out.
So I want to say something very radical here. very, very radical. And let's see if that's what he says. That if you learn this, if you read this quickly, what it means is, what it says is that, well, look at the suffering saint. Look how Kadosh Baruch Hu is suffering. That here he's giving mazon, and he's being hurt with the mazon that he's giving him. I'm paying for your cell phone because you need money. You need a cell phone, and you're using it to talk Lashon Hara about me. Like that's what it sounds like. On a deeper level, as what everybody just said is, everybody understands themselves that well, you have to have free choice. So in the structure of the Bria, one of the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu committed to was free choice. So if a person has free choice, so now you have to let them do that Avera, because otherwise would you give them free choice for? So here's the radical part of it. What it means to say is that when you have to, there's like religious coercion, and there's letting something play out. So when you talk about, you're doing something wrong, stop it by force. So it's not the godly way. But you're doing a tremendous thing. You're stopping something bad from happening. In other words, like if there's a certain level of kanois, there's a way of thinking which, when you think about it, could be a legitimate way of thinking. If something's doing something wrong, we'll just stop it. Make it stop. I'm cutting off your allowance. I'm cutting off your internet. I'm cutting off your whatever. I'm cutting off. You know what I'm saying? I'm cutting it off. Or you could take it to a further extreme and do that. I'm not going to be getting food. I'm not going to energize these bad habits. So, which is not dealing so much with the person, but with the maisa that the person is doing. I'm stopping this from being done. And you could be labeled as a big tzaddik for doing it. I'm just not going to allow that to happen. And I think that's most of our ways on some level. Maybe we're not, breaking windows and burning cars and things like that. But basically, if you stop something bekoach, so what you're doing is this type of coercion is it would be Dilma HaKadosh Baruch Hu bekoach, freezing Yerovam's hand, which apparently there is a place for that. I'm freezing your hand. I'm paralyzing you. I'm not going to allow you to do that Aveira. Other way, which is much more difficult and much more complicated, and takes patience amongst many other virtues, savlonis is just one of them, is that I say, look, I preach to you. I don't think you should do that. I educate you. I think let me show you why this is the absolute wrong thing to do. And let me show you what the consequences of this will be in life. So be careful before you make this decision. Let's talk about adults for a second. So I'm doing everything that I can do minus coercion, but the decision is yours. So the decision is yours. So okay, we have bechira chavshus. But when we say, and I explained yesterday, the day before, that bechira chavshus is simply the ability, the charge within us to be an executive. That's what bechira chavshus is. Like, what are we b'tzelem l'kim if we don't have bechira chavshus? But if I'm giving you bechira chavshus, what I'm saying is that you might make the wrong decision, but I'm going to let you make that decision. So it sounds very liberal. So I'm going to let you make that decision. When is it appropriate? And here's the nakuda. When is it appropriate to stop the person by force? And when is it appropriate to lecture the person, warn the person, edim hasra, but not stop the person? When is it appropriate to let the person make their own decision? The answer is, well, one answer to this: if you trust the person, if you trust that this person has the goodness within them, that they're able to make the right decision, and eventually they may make the right decision, then by coercing them, by stopping them, you're actually doing a big avla, because nothing was accomplished here. So I stopped you. Very good. Now next time I won't be around, you're going to do it. Whereas if I let the scenario play out to the point that you're making even a wrong decision, and you're actually hurting yourself. But as you said, I'm learning from it. more than learning from, growing from it. So then it makes sense to as difficult as it might be, it's almost like it's almost like something which is impossible to ask. Am I going to let you hurt me? Am I going to let you hurt yourself? I mean, is this the right thing? So the answer is if I believe in you and I trust in you enough, then it does make some sense. Maybe not, it might not be popular, but it does make some sense. So, I'm just to take my muscle, and I'm Bedafka being very rough on everybody here, including myself. But a woman is being abused in a home. Again, I don't talk about children because children don't have the fear of Hashem. So it's a different story. But let's say an adult, intelligent, woman is being abused in a home. So, the eitzah, what's the eitzah? Do I just, should I remain an enabler? Rav Dessler calls HaKadosh Baruch Hu the great enabler. he's giving us koach to do chet. He's allowing it. He's encouraging it in a certain way. What do you think about it? So why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu do this? Because he believes that we have a neshama, we can do tshuva. So the issue is not the patience of HaKadosh Baruch Hu or the parallel patience of us. The real nekuda here of this Mikal Kavocha is who is there like you who has so much faith in a basar v'dam, so much faith in the neshama that he created, that I'm going to let you play this out because I think at the end there's a koach of tshuva.
Hashem knows what's going to happen at the end.
But that's a red herring.
Why?
Because that's anyways a philosophical question. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not. And free choice means that I'm letting you act. I'm letting you play this out. You see what I'm saying? In other words, once you understand that there's a possibility, apparently with Yeravim and Nevat, HaKadosh Baruch Hu reckoned that there is no more possibility of tshuva. There's such a thing.
With Paro?
So, Nachanami, who said he couldn't, says he doesn't do tshuva. But he let him. No, but he did leave him until the fifth Makkah. He let him do. So apparently, he did let him. It wasn't a Vayiksha Hashem Slave Paro until later on. So in other words, there's a belief in the person. It's like, I always say this. You wake up in the morning and you say, Modani l'chaim shachzarta b'nishmasi b'chem lo rabba emunasecha. So what does it even mean? Rabba emunasecha. How great is your belief? We're talking about Hashem's emunah. What's
believe in us.
Hashem beats emunah? So the answer is believe in us. Rabba emunasecha. Why? Because here we had the kind of day that we had. We messed up a few times today. Who knows what we're going to do tomorrow? Which Baruch Hu has our neshama as a pikadon. Is this worth it or not worth it? Take your neshama back. Let's try it again. And let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. So there's a tremendous amount of emunah Hashem has. Like, do we have that much emunah that we keep on giving HaKadosh Baruch Hu that many chances as he gives us? One or two times we're out of here. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu has emunah. So this is the emunah that we're talking about over here. The emunah's Hashem is the emunah in the koach HaTshuva. And the koach of tshuva is not the ability of a person to do tshuva. The koach of tshuva is that a person, in fact, will decide to do tshuva. It's just amazing to me how people that it was said upon them that growing up, they'll never do tshuva. They're just bad eggs. Things not going to happen. It's just amazing how many of them come out. Not all, but a little patience and tolerance. But here you have, somehow or another, a person does come to MS, and a person does come. And when that person comes to the Malkum of Tshuva, so the Malkum Shabali Tshuva, and the main Tzadikim Gemor Michem. So the Tzadik Gomer is the one who grabbed his hand. I paralyzed him. I never let him do this Aver. I would never let him do that Aver. But that's going to be the tzaddik, the Baal Tshuva, which in this case is a higher madrega, is not the one who I'm not going to let do the aver. It's the one who I'm going to continue to be mefardesh, watch carefully. I'm going to lecture constantly, and I'm going to educate completely, but I'm not going to coerce. So when you believe in somebody, so that the coercion becomes completely inappropriate.
It's even the
even if you're the one who's being abused.
even the Stalins and Hitlers in the world. I mean, that's
You know, it's hard to I mean, it's hard for me anyways to you know, like Amalek might be like a whole different it might be a whole different story here in terms of the klipa, but the pashtus is that like Paro.
What about Elisha ben Avuah?
What do you mean like power?
Meaning that Vayiksha Hashem is Lev Paro, that in other words, once they made a clear decision. What do you ask me? Why Hashem
No,
didn't
that
stop
Hashem
them?
continues to give them the ability, these monsters.
You see that there are monsters that did tshuva. Nasha, Israel did tshuva.
Didn't it say about Achar?
It doesn't say that Achar did tshuva. But
No, I'm not saying he did. I'm saying why did it say he couldn't?
Yishmael did tshuva. Esav did tshuva. You know, but you know, by Menashe it says that even. You know, the Malachim said, no way, he did too much wrong. He's a monster. Like, he can't do tshuva. Chatra HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tachas Kisei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but a special this concern. So we need to bring more rayas this way, that way, and understand like the Rishonim of the world. But I just want to say the Yisoid. The Yisoid here is that it's not just HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a lot of patience and a lot of pain tolerance, and he can handle his hand being bitten while he's feeding us. It's not only about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's about HaKadosh Baruch Hu's respect for the person who's biting his hand, and the respect goes so far that I trust that this is temporary insanity, and sooner or later you'll get it, and that takes a tremendous amount of patience. So when we're talking about emulating HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so here's the thing to really think about. And it really, to me, it just challenges everything that we know secularly is right. That what it means to say is that, yes, I have to be, the first step is that my respect for another person and my respect for them to change and to do good and to do tshuva has to, first, that's the premise, has to be so deep that when I'm considering pulling away my artificial resuscitation or my oxygen, you know, I'm holding the plug into the wall. You know, like you're breathing because of me. Stop kicking me. But I'm Bekoshi holding the plug in the wall. This can only be from a tremendous amount of confidence and respect that there is for the other person. Whereas the coercion indicates a complete lack of respect and a complete lack of faith in the other person. So this we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rabbi Emunasecha. You have a tremendous amount of faith in me. You have a tremendous amount of faith in me that I can still rejuvenate. And it's much easier to talk about HaKadosh Baruch Hu than talk about us. Like, do we... Look, let's to make it easier just for to end the day here without giving everyone a headache. Like if you know, like I'm feeling, I'm speaking about myself, my tolerance level is very low. Very low. My patience level is very low these days. So, you know, what does it mean? It means to say, well, you know, this person's really getting on my nerves. So, I don't need that in my life. You know, this person's getting on my nerves. What are they doing wrong already? You know, what are they doing wrong? You know, you don't like the way they wear their hat. You don't like the way they you don't like their politics. Like, what's the, you don't like their yachas. You know, like maybe they're a little bit gaivadik. It's okay. They're getting on your nerves. But you push away a person, like it's like there's enough people these days that I don't have to. You know, I was thinking like when I lived in Buffalo. So you had to be very patient because when they clearly got on your nerves, they didn't get you needed them for a minion. So we had the biggest crackpots in the world. Walking, the most ridiculous people, you know, like walking in there, you know, or with pints of scotch in their pocket, you know, like at 7 o'clock in the morning, and 6:45. I mean, the most ridiculous people would say the most ridiculous. Jew, we need you for a minion. Like, so all of a sudden, everybody's chashuv, you know. Like everybody's chashuv. But you know, Baruch Hashem, like in Baruch Hashem, we live in a community where, you know, people are dispensable and disposable. Somebody else to fill a chair, not a problem. You know, everybody is disposable. So the question is, you know, people, you know, like what is our tolerance level? So I'm not like forget about if you're being makabel abuse, and just on a regular, just like a simple thing to be godly. Like I think the avoda here is, if you can identify one or two people who get on your nerves daily. I don't have it. Like I have a list of, but if things people the tolerance is so low. What there really is, what there really is a lack of respect for another person. A, accept the person for what they are, but B, I mean that's first of all. But B, even if it's a bad thing, who says that they're not going to change? Who says they're not bekoach to change? Who says that maybe your friendship and your tolerance to them can make a difference? Maybe by dafka being mefarnes that person, it can make a difference in that person. Haven't we all seen that? Like you can really make a difference in a person's life. And I think that's the first lesson. But it's beyond anything that we're used to thinking of because we're used to taking care of ourselves, and protecting ourselves, and that's the culture. So I just want to let's turn the tide just a little bit before we go further, because this, compared to everything else that the Devorah is telling us, is kid stuff. This is the easy one. But so here's the if you see somebody today, if you meet somebody who one of those people that just gets on your nerves, you have to look at them like a lulav. Like you look at them.
You shake them.
Here's a mamash an opportunity for growth and for developing a new respect in another human being, and a challenge to me to find something about that person which is really beautiful and really good. 99% of the time, these are not bad people. I'm not talking about Hitler. We're talking about, gets on my nerves. That's all. I don't like the way you do that. Don't talk that way. It's sticky. So Melech Hellboy. Let's take it from God. That try to switch that around.
Rabbi Nachman says you have to look for the good in everyone.
Yeah, it's the first step.
Why is it phrased in terms of a rhetorical question?
It's a pedal, that. I thought you meant the term Devorah. Shema Toimar. Why is it a question? Think about it. Why did Navi say it that way?